proud members of the Dread Central Podcast Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Welcome to 2021. Him and Ket made it out alive.
Definitely.
Yeah. We are a horror movie comedy podcast.
We are going to tell you the entirety of a movie, spoilers and all. And this week, I, Kim Burns, am going to be telling you a tale.
And I, Ketrin Porter, am going to try to stay alive. And I predict it will be barely. Based on my last few showings. That's true. New year, new me.
Your stats
too.
go back to 0. It's a fresh start.
Oh, great. So I'm 100%
You are
alive
right now.
Great. I love it.
Nowhere to go but down.
Wow. Just kidding.
Kidding.
When you're right, you're right.
What's up?
Nothing. I'm excited. This is our first recording of 2021.
Yeah. Just want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with us on New Year's Eve. That was like so fun and such a nice way to spend New Year's Eve, to be honest.
It was delightful. And full disclosure, I get a little bit of like social anxiety when like I hit a limit, basically. Like I have it's like I have a time limit kind of thing. And it's very pronounced on Zoom hangs, like real pronounced. Like I can't keep my shit together. So knowing that we like had a time frame where it was like we wanted to ring in the new year for like every time zone, obviously.
Well, in the States.
And so I was like
every time zone.
What also, right. And I learned by the way, I learned about a new time zone.
Ketrin learned that there were 4 time zones in that. Well, I think technically 5 if we include Hawaii, but we didn't go there. We went just East Coast to West Coast, and she learned that
the continental United States.
There were 4 time zones within there, not just 3.
I had no idea. Mountain time?
Who lives there?
I had no idea. The mountain people, I guess. I don't know. What was I saying? So I was nervous that it was like, that it was like 8 to 12:30. Like it was like, this is what we're doing. It's a long time. And it ended up flying by.
I felt
and I was
the
like,
same way. Like we were like, okay, we can, if like we had all these things like just in case. We were like, okay, we can like put on like a game, like play like Cards Against Humanity, or we can do this, or we can do that. Like we weren't like performing, we were just hanging, you know what I mean? But like we like never. I like never felt the need to do any of that. We just like literally hung out and like talked to people. It was like really fun.
It was really great.
It was so nice to like see people's faces and voices come out of their mouth holes.
Yeah.
Not just like online stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was just really great. I don't know. I felt.
Yeah, I had a blast.
So nice.
It allowed me to practice for an extended period of time talking with my new braces. So that was also good.
Can't tell. You had them on literally. I've never even noticed a difference.
I notice it in my own mouth.
Sure.
That like I have to. So like it's more that I don't know. I know that it feels very weird. I don't know what other people
I don't even notice.
Can hear or experiencing. Now I shouldn't have said it because now everyone's going to be like, yeah, everybody's listening.
So thanks to everyone who popped on. That was fun.
It was great. What else? Oh, I hit the ground running because I fucking completely purged and reorganized my closet before beginning recording today.
Wow. Nice. Do you have clothes to give me?
Maybe. We washed all of our clothes, so there's a bunch of clothes that like I didn't want to give people dirty clothes. So I was like,
you.
so there may be some, so there may be some clothes that we haven't sorted yet because Eric went and did laundry as well. So I was working on the things already in my closet.
Weren't they clean in your closet?
Those were clean. There are none in there for you.
Why?
Because they're either extremely out of style and like they've just been like hanging in like do you need like a baby blue like office sweater? Yeah. No. So do you need a gray matronly pencil skirt?
Is it?
You don't. I'm telling you, you don't. It would hit you like based on your height, it would hit you at like the most uncomfortable.
I hate that.
You would
a lot of things
you
like
would
that
look
hit me there. And I'm like, this
yeah,
is
like you would look like a
horrible.
sister wife. Yeah.
Like
So,
things that
no.
I need to get things big enough to fit around my booty.
Yes.
And then they end up being so long.
sister
that
wife
they-
length.
that they are sister wife length when they're supposed to be like knee length.
Yes. Yeah. So
Short
thinking
and
about-
curvaceous.
I'm still on the fence about it. I'm thinking about giving you that green dress.
Ooh.
Possibly. Yeah, I just have to see how it fits. And it may be something where I'm like, this is yours now, but I may need to borrow it back
Sure.
sometimes.
I mean, honestly, after my
that's-
COVID-19, I'm not sure if it'll fit me anymore anyway. So,
I mean, yeah, that's sort of what I'll be processing this evening. What of these clothes that I want to keep can I no longer keep, even if I want to? So that'll be fun.
Nice.
I also learned how to make the most delicious hot toddy I've ever made in my life.
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah. How about you? What'd you do?
Oh, I had like the best morning. I just had my mushroom coffee. I lit some little sage leaves and I fucking meditated and journaled. And I'm reading this book by a shaman. And it's like, fucking good, man. You know what's crazy about this book? Actually, it was like published in 2019. And he talks about the blackout coming and how like something big is happening to humanity. And then afterwards, if we, process it,
Get our shit together,
do good things, that it turns into like the golden age, or like he calls it like the giant age or something like that. And I was like, that's bonkers, because it literally came out before 2020. And I was like, wow, I have a real reference for this right now.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping we didn't just usher in the coal age.
I'm only on like
Opposed to the
chapter 1 or
golden
something,
age.
but this is like feminine energy versus masculine energy, and how like as a world we've leaned really hard into the masculine energy, and that's why a lot of, not that one is good or bad, but they should be in balance.
But it's all about balance. Yeah.
And masculine energy is very logical and it's very me individual versus like giving and intuition. So.
Yeah, that's actually and I won't go too much into this, but it's kind of what you're talking about. In Wicca, there is a lot of focus on the feminine energy and the goddess. And frankly, I gravitate towards that as well. But in all of my studies, they're like, it's not like it's a balance. It is the god and goddess. But they did touch on the fact that one of the reasons that there is an appearance of Wicca being more female centric is because that is the part that was killed off.
That's like the part that's needed.
Exactly. So it's like, it's fine to focus on that because there is so much masculine energy around us, but like to not lose sight of the fact that like we are supposed to be in balance. We all are male and female.
Exactly.
In, you know what I mean? So that's cool.
That reminds me of my other shaman story. This is a different shaman. I'm just real into them lately. I don't know what my deal
Okay,
is.
so we have shaman story number 1, shaman story
Remember
number 2.
when I was
Cool,
like, remind
cool.
me to talk about the shaman story on the
yes,
podcast,
yes.
and neither one of us remembered.
Yes.
Fuck, now I'm gonna have to remember it. So like,
And didn't I text you and say neither of us are going to remember? So
no, you were like, 1000% won't remember that. And I was like, no, I won't either, but I just need both our brains to attempt to try together.
And they both failed. Continue.
But it came out naturally, see? So this other shaman, I was listening to an interview with her like on a podcast, and I wanted to share these on the podcast because they're like creepy ghosty things a little bit.
Ooh.
That, or at least like I leaned them hard in that direction, but it's what she was saying.
Oh, fuck. Gina holes out.
Tits up. 2021.
Cheers.
So, okay, the first one, I'm not going to explain these well now that it's been 2 weeks or something, but she basically was like explaining how you can talk to like your spirits pretty much. And she was like, the easiest way to start is to connect with like your grandparents. That's like the easiest, closest layer to you. And also like you as a person can understand them as people a little bit.
Their vibes. Yeah.
And she was like, even if you're like adopted, you could like also call in your birth grandparents and your adoptive grandparents like as well. Like, you know, it's just like all the spirits. And you can also make sure that like you're only asking for positive things to help you or whatever like that. Like if they were, you know, people you weren't that into or something like that. And then we have like ancestral spirit guides, which is like spirits that have moved on and kind of moved up a little bit. And so that's like kind of like our spirit squad or whatever. So then she was like, they think they were talking about like, kind of when like spirits come to you and stuff like that. But she's like, some of them can be tricksters and be like, yeah, no, I'm totally here to help you, but actually be kind of bad. Which is why she's like, you can like intend to and like make sure you're only asking for that and stuff like that. But she's like, they can be, I don't know if I can't remember if she used this word, but basically like demons is like how I like took it to be. Cause she was like, these spirits aren't spirits that have like reincarnated from Earth. Like they've never like been human spirits. And then like that's what she was talking about a lot. Yeah. Like it was kind of just like, you know,
they're just up there like fucking shit
our
up
spirits
all the time.
Like kind of come to Earth multiple times and and then you kind of like learn more and more and more and more, and then you can move up to like ancestral. So, but she was like, these are spirits that have like never kind of, they don't become human beings ever. And she's like explaining everything so that like our little brains can understand it. You know, she's like, everything I'm saying is like in like it's so much language beyond this, but like, yeah. Exactly. But she's like, and they are created purely from negative energy. Like she's like, they're made up completely of just like fear and hate and things like that. Like straight up.
Shit.
And I was like, wow. Cause they're never like spirits that live and come back, you know, all the things like they don't learn anything. They don't they don't become human. They are just like, they're just balls of energy that have been created from like negativity.
Right.
Wow. And that's like what like
that is so
demons
interesting.
Basically are, for lack of better term. And then the second part, this was like a different interview, like I think on a second episode. She said, so basically our children that we birth like natural, like from our bodies are
right. So my cats. Go on.
Correct. Yes. Are our ancestors. So it's like our ancestors. And when I say ancestors, I don't mean like your uncle. Like it's like
no. I get it. Like spiritual ancestors
from lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and dimensions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's why shamans, for example, like are from a lineage, because it's like they're always kind of coming down. So you have like your DNA lineage, and then you have like your ancestral spiritual lineage. So we're like giving birth to like our ancestors for the most part, because sometimes there's just
we give birth to demon
there's
babies.
Just a spirit floating around that's like lost or something, that can like get up in there.
And it's like,
and then like the girl interviewing was like, so like we can give birth to ghosts? And she was like, basically. And I was like, that is literally how a creepy crap bag child comes to be. That is how.
100%.
But she straight up was like, yeah, I don't recommend having sex in a haunted house. Like straight up, like literally said those words.
Okay, well, checking that off my 2021 bucket list.
Like, because I guess a ghost will get up in you. And then you give birth to a creepy crap bag.
Well, we always kind of knew in our hearts that something shady was happening with these creepy crap bag kids.
So that's my gift to you for 2021.
I love it. Oh, I do have to clarify something that is right on the coattails of this. So my dear friend Haley, who also is an esthetician, and it's fun because like she does my 6-week facials, but like I'm also hanging out with my friends, so like it's nice. And she listens to the podcast, and she wants children of her own,
not cats.
Well, let's not get technical here. And she said something, and I was like, "Oh, like that's sweet," or something like that. Yeah. I don't remember what it was. And she was like, "Oh, like, do you and Kim want kids together?" And I was like, "Yes, together." And I was like, I mean, I don't like as of now, but I was like, yeah, Kim does. And she was like, oh, I thought you both like hated kids. And I was like, no, I mean, like, also, me. She was like, well, you call them crap bags. And I was like, no, that's a sect of children. Creepy crap bags. And I was like, that's also a sect of children that we are not fond of.
Happen to be in many of the movies that we cover.
Yes. And like my lack of desire to have children is actually because I know what a huge responsibility that is, and I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because I think they're cool. I think humans are cool. I think kids are cool. I don't want to do it. I want to be an auntie.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, I think
there we go. So I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, no, my like little twin nieces are my favorite humans in the world.
Yeah, like I'm very excited for Kim to have a kid so that like I can be like ultimate witch aunt. Like that is really what I feel like my calling is.
Yeah, no, I totally want kids. So take that into consideration when you're applying to audition to be my husband, everyone.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm glad that we had this conversation because apparently it was unclear. Yeah. Anyway.
So, do you want to hear about a movie? On that
note? Yes, I do.
Okay. This is a little movie called His House.
Yay! I'm so excited to watch this.
It just came out on Netflix past year.
Yeah.
It's written and directed by Remi Weekes. And it looked like from his IMDb that this is his first feature. As far as I can tell. Like it looks like he did like an episode of like TV and like 2 short films. Like
yes, dude.
Really
great job.
Cool. Good for him. And the story is by Felicity Evans and Toby Venables. Okay. Dead or alive? Bowl.
How do you spell that? Alive. Don't criticize my process.
Real.
Alive.
Mark Charles.
How do you spell that? I'm just kidding.
M.
Dead.
R. Niagak.
Dead.
Neighbor.
Alive.
Okay.
Oh, that was a quick one.
So, I just realized that I meant to read through my notes before doing this, and then I ran out of time. But
here we are. Well, here we go. Also, you began to spell Mark, and you spelled M-R.
I know. I hoped you would just skip over it.
I can't. Honestly, it's a problem I have.
I got like adult dyslexia.
No, I still think it has to do with your brain going faster than your
It
mouth.
really is.
Do.
Like I move on.
Because your
I go
brain
very
moved
quickly.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we start with a man who's carrying a child and she's holding a doll. I was so nervous about this. I don't know how old she is. She's not a toddler. She's
Okay.
10 to 12, maybe.
Okay.
She doesn't talk a lot. So like, you know what I mean? But like,
well, there is a time period between toddler that I'm a little concerned you're not paying attention to, because toddler's like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then we have like 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, but
6,
she's
7, 8,
tall.
9.
so she's either very tall for her age or
Let's call her 6.
I feel like
Let's call her tall 6.
she's a tall 6. But she's
Let's
like
do it.
the height
Great.
of a 12-year-old.
Oof. All right. Let's call her a tall 8. Great.
So she has kind of like African tribal marks on her face, like scarification. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. I do.
And she's holding like a little doll, and it's like a hot sun. Clearly, they're walking, and then they're all kind of crowding into the back of a truck, and we see that it's like a couple with this little girl standing in front of them, and the mom's kind of just like holding her arms around her. But they're like all crowded into like the back of a pickup truck, like standing and like put the things up. So, and mom holds the girl and she's like, I'll protect you, but says it in like a different language. Now it's nighttime, and then there's this huge crowd, like all on like a little speedboat, like packed in, like as much as people as possible. Cut to a bunch of bodies in the water, like screaming and like clearly there'd been like a storm or something. And then the little girl is screaming, "Mama, Mama!" And then we wake up in bed. It's the couple, the mom and dad, and the man was dreaming. And so she asks like what he was dreaming about, and he says, our wedding day. And she's like, oh, that explains the screams.
Cute.
And now we see they're in a room that has another bed in it with like some other dude there. And then a kind of guard comes in and tells the couple that they're wanted in the gym.
Okay.
And so the guard leaves, and the other man on the other bed is like, don't get your hopes up. They're going to send you back to die or something like that. So the couple gets stressed, and they kind of like get ready and like have like a sweet kiss between each other. Like you can tell they're like there for each other.
And like a
yeah. And they leave the room and walk down the hallway and walk past another room. And there's like 2 guards in there, like kind of fighting a man on the ground. I don't really know what's going on, but there appears to be blood and stuff. So now we go into the gym. They are just sitting in 2 chairs, and in front of them are like a couple set up tables with people sitting behind them. And the people at the table, it's like a man and a woman who are our mom and dad people are African. They're coming from like South Sudan. And then the people at the table are British. They have like a British accent. So they are whispering to each other, like, what about the child? And one of them says, they lost the child last year.
oh no. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the British table people say to them, congratulations, you're being released from detention. And dad like laugh cries almost, like he's just so like happy and like
but also like
almost.
but also he's going there without his kid.
But they're kind of like, hold on, slow your roll. You're being released on bail as asylum seekers. You're not citizens yet. So basically, they're refugees from South Sudan that have come to seek asylum in England.
In England. Okay.
Which is what's happening.
Good choice.
Not America. So they tell them what the conditions are. And if they fail, they have to return to detention. So, number one, they have to report to the British immigration people, I guess.
The boss of the detention
weekly.
Immigration, yes.
They have to report weekly.
Okay.
They can't miss a single meeting.
Okay.
They get £75 financial aid weekly. They can't work or supplement their earnings.
What?
And they will be sent to a home of our choosing, and they can't move. Isn't that crazy?
Okay. Yes. And yes. Okay.
I don't know how that's
do
supposed to be like
helping.
Exactly.
I mean,
like,
it's
exactly
helping.
what I was. You took the words out of my mouth because, like, yes, it's help. It's better and it's helping better than where they were, and it's something. But
it just sounds very much like imprisonment.
Yeah, like how are people supposed to
get on their feet and become a the whole point is that we want them to be a functioning part of society,
and like start a new
and help
life
society,
and, like, be a part of life. Yeah, I thought it was very odd. I guess I can
very punishing.
Yeah, I guess I can like postmortem if any of that's true.
I would love you to, because I don't know. I would love to know, like, I mean, obviously you don't need to postmortem like the foreign policy of England in its entirety. But that just seems
like the not working thing, especially, like I was like, but like that's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
Dad is like, we are good people. And the British table people are like, it's not me that needs convincing.
Why are we? Okay.
So now it's like a rainy night. Mom and Dad get into a van, and it's like they're the only ones in there with like a, I don't know, guardy person. And Mom asks where they're going. There's no response. So they just kind of sit there holding hands.
Okay.
Title card, his house. So now they get to apartments, and it's like dawn. And they're dropped off. And I guess I'll just tell you their names because I don't know when it comes out. But so Bowl is Dad, Rial is Mom.
Dad. Okay.
So when they get off the van, and there's a man there waiting for them. And it is actually the guy who plays on The Crown Queen Elizabeth's husband.
Uh-huh.
When not current. The
earlier one. Yes, I know exactly what actor you're talking about.
What's his
young Prince Philip?
So that's why I called him Mark Charles, because his name is Mark here, but like Charles was the only name I could think of, even though I know that Charles is the son, and I was like, I couldn't fucking remember. So I call him Charles the whole time.
Yes, it's Philip, but now I know. Okay,
and then
so Charles, Philip, Mark.
I could only think of the name Charles, and then this isn't really spoil anything, but at some point they make a joke later about calling him Charles. So I was like, okay, Charles, and you were like, it is. So I was like, I can't fucking remember the name.
Great.
So
yeah,
Mark Charles.
I didn't know he was in this. Yeah, I didn't know he was in this. I find him a very fascinating actor to watch.
Yeah, I see that. So he's basically their caseworker or whatever. Okay. And he's there, and he's holding like a little container for them that has like sponges and, shit for their home. Okay. And he's like, here we are, home sweet home. And he's like, normally it's half the size with twice as many of you in it, but this is all yours.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So he kind of takes them inside, and like the door breaks a little bit, like as they go in, like the hinges or something. And he's like, okay. So he's just reading off the list, like no candles, no smoking, no animals, no pets, no guests, no friends, no parties, no Ball games, no balls.
I know. This is prison.
How
I don't
are you supposed
understand.
to be like building
these
a
are
life?
I don't know. And these are I guess is the idea that they like broke the law by crossing the border without blah blah blah. But I'm like,
Maybe
they're seeking
Asylum.
asylum, and you just said that. You just said that. So why are you punishing them? I don't understand.
Yeah. So anyway, he turns on like
Great. We're 60 seconds in and I'm already furious.
he turns on like flips on the light, like the ceiling light, and it like burns out. So he's like, oh, we'll have to fix that. And he tells them that there's a shop around the corner for screws to fix the door. We didn't have time for the cleaners. So like it's just like dirty all around. Like it's just like
gross.
yucky looking, like bowls in the kitchen. And he like there's like a pizza box like on the fucking counter, and he opens it. There's like roaches inside and like half-eaten pizza. Like it's just like very
What the fuck?
dingy and
Yeah.
you know. So Charles Phillip is like, there's a doctor down the road, and he's like, I can draw you a map. He's like, just open up the window, that'll let the smell air out or something like that, you know. And he's like, all of this, but it's yours. Like, you have a place and it's all yours.
Okay.
So now they're like, Bull's like signing some papers with him, and Charles Phillip is like, oh, that's a confident signature. And Bull's like, yeah, I work at a bank. And he's like, I mean, I worked at a bank.
Right.
And Charles Phillip is like, I think you two are going to be all right. You're going to get along. You're going to fit in. And Bull's like, yeah, we're not going back. And Charles Phillip is like, that's the spirit. Be one of the good ones.
What the?
So, yeah, we head to later, and you kind of hear like sirens and like noises outside and stuff like that. Bull is looking out the window and kind of starts to tear up a little bit, and then kind of laughs and then cries. It's just so much.
I can't even.
Just so much.
Even
He's
imagine.
a really good actor, like, and especially that way of like all of the feelings in his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good.
Wow.
Just all of them at once. It's really good. So, and then Rial is like sitting on the bed, just looking at the doll, the same doll.
Oh my God.
The little doll's wearing a dress that has like beads along the edge. So she like kind of like pulls like the string of beads off and puts it on as a necklace. So now it's nighttime. There's no lights. So they're kind of listening. They're in the living room, which is just empty.
Oh, and they can't have candles.
They're not supposed to. So they're sitting in the empty living room with just like dingy walls, kind of like just old looking wallpaper, and like kind of by the corner of one wall, there's like a hole cut out, like a little square rectangle kind of cut out, so you can like reach up inside the wall.
Oh, okay. Where the wall people live?
Exactly. So,
cool.
But they're just sitting on the floor, listening to music on the phone, and sitting together, and it's kind of, you know, just sweet,
Peaceful.
Yeah. And, you know, Bull says something like, I think he says like, it's our new home or something, and Rial's like, we're born again, and they kiss.
Ugh.
So they were kind of sitting on like a blanket. So I think it's like later, and Bull's like folding up the blanket and he hears kind of like a noise outside, but like in the distance. And then kind of just kind of like, you know, like sounds in the outside.
Yeah. Are there beds, by the way? I'm sorry if you already
yeah, it's
said
actually
that.
2 floors. So like upstairs, there is a,
They have 2 whole floors?
so it's like
okay. All right.
big-ish house.
Oh, and I guess that's why
he's
he was like, normally it's...
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's kind of
All
the
right,
thing,
cool.
is like, it's like a big place basically for,
Yeah.
them and boop, 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 boop. What is he doing? Oh, he's folding up the blanket. And he kind of hears something, and then he hears like a little humming sound.
Nope.
And so he stops and looks at the like hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. And there's a noise.
Yeah.
And something like hit the window behind him, like something from the outside kind of like smacked up against the window. And he's like, ugh.
Okay.
But he's like kind of like shook a little bit, and he like covers his ears because he's starting to like hear like the sound of like a crowd kind of screaming and people screaming and things. And he's just
like a flashback kind of thing.
And he's like, shh,
okay,
shh, and trying to kind of self-soothe basically. And he looks at the wall. So this is like the living room wall, and there's kind of like a clicking sound or something, or a clacking sound, and it's like in the wall ? And then kind of like a skittering, like kind of in the wall. God. And so he like puts his ear like up to the wall, and it's like thump, and he jumps back, and he's like, hello. And then something kind of like skitters like in the like kind of like across the wall as well inside.
Yeah.
And like kind of by the little hole like on the floor. Question 1, what do you do? What does he do?
I'm so afraid of breaking a rule. Okay, so let me just be clear. You said that there's a hole in the wall that like you could reach in. Okay. Well, I think for now I'm going to cover the hole so that I am in control of what goes in or out of that hole, ma'am. I think, how big is the hole?
It is exactly 6 by 12 inches.
Wow. Clearly, hole measurements are much more your forte than children's ages. That was incredible. I just meant like, can my head fit in it?
Probably, like, but it'd be like a tight squeeze, like the 6 inches. Yeah, like your head's 6 inches,
okay.
Right? But it'd be a tough squeeze up in there.
Tough squeeze.
I think 6 by 12 is the. Let's just think of it that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to board it up in some way. Make sure that I am in control of what comes in or out. I think he tries to look in it somehow with some source of light, maybe his phone. I think you said they had, I don't know if you said anything about flashlights or anything, so I'm going to go with some source of light. He tries to look in the walls. Oh my God, you look gorgeous right now.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to take a screenshot. Now it's over.
Hold on, I'll get back to thinking.
It's over. Now you're just ruining it.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
I'll do it secretly next time.
Can't think if this is right or wrong.
Now she's blushing. Sorry. Okay.
I'm gonna give a point for him.
Okay.
So he looks in the hole. He fucking lays on the floor and like kind of like tries to peek up in there, and he hears noises, and then he reaches his arm in.
Yeah.
And then kind of rustles around a little bit, and then lays down, pulls his arm out. And then he kind of like, so he's like laying sideways on the floor, you know what I mean? And then he like reaches his arm in again. So he lifts his head up a little bit. Behind him is a little girl laying there. And kind of like screaming, but like in breath instead of out breath. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do. No, I'm scared.
And I think it's the little girl, the daughter.
Their daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he turns, nothing's there, and then
because he heard it.
Yeah, he heard something, but we saw her face.
We saw
just kind of laying on the floor behind him.
That's too scary.
And he looks behind him, nothing. Looks back in the hole. A bird flies out.
A bird?
Yeah, so a bird was like up in the wall.
But they can't have pets. How am I going to save this bird?
I think they'll set it free.
Okay.
I think that's probably what it
second
wanted.
best.
I don't think it wanted to
I
live in
guess-
your wall as a pet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, hello? Can I
I
be
think
your
it was
pet?
like, help me and get me out of here. Man, I'm stuck. Don't you hear me rustling
shit.
around?
Did you ever get a bird stuck in your house?
No. I don't think
It's
so.
happened to me a couple times. At my parents' house, I mean.
You're really bummed it hasn't
it's
happened at your house, though. Pretty
I
sad
am.
about it.
It's disconcerting. I mean, even the animal lover I am, it's like, they're a loose cannon.
Yeah,
a bird
'cause
in your
it's,
house.
I've seen it.
It's panic.
Yeah, like it's very upset, so that it's diving
Yeah.
into things and doesn't understand you telling
Yeah,
it where to go.
No. And me going, I just want to love you. They don't get it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Okay. Anyway.
They think you're trying to trap it and keep it as a pet forever, and you're like, "That's not
Yeah.
what I guessed. That's okay. You've got me. You found it. So sorry, bird."
yeah.
So anyway, the bird flies out, and he's just like, "Strange country."
Sure.
So now it's daytime. Rial is waking up, and Bull's not in bed next to her. She goes downstairs, and he's already like fixing the front door. And she speaks to him in Dinka, is their language, which is
Okay.
like a South Sudanese language.
Okay.
And he has a bunch of trash bags filled with things, and the doll is in the bag.
Okay.
And Rial takes it out, and she's looking out the window, and there's like a little old lady like in a green jacket walking by, and she's like, "Look, it's their queen." And then Bull's like, "Where's
Cute.
Charles?" And they like laugh together. It's cute.
Yeah.
And so now Bull's outside taking the garbage out, and their whole this is rude of me. Their whole front lawn is really a mess. Like there's a ton of like furniture and things there, and I was like, wow, it's like the sidewalks of Glendale. I like all I wrote
Wow.
was Glendale. I was like, wow, that was rude.
Wow. That is
Or really
rude.
just the street
That is rude.
Ketrin lives on.
Yeah. No, they get it. It's fine.
I don't know if all of Glendale is like that, but every time I go
it's
to
really
her house,
infuriating.
there's like just a new piece of furniture somewhere on the
It's
street. It's
so-
very weird.
It's so ridiculous. And it's like, you just call the city and they pick it the fuck up. Do you know how many times I have to call the fucking city to pick up other people's shit? God.
So anyway, but it's like all like on their
Combine that with me yelling at people not wearing masks. 'Cause I'm literally just like the evil witch of the
Yes.
neighborhood that's just like,
everyone knows this about you.
yeah.
They all talk about it at their meetings.
Yeah, at the Glendale meetings. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this just has like kind of garbage all over it, like a fucking old couch and just things kind of everywhere, but just like across the lawn and stuff. And the neighbor lady who lives, now I'm confused about their house situation, but she appears to be on a second floor window, but maybe it's the next door window. I don't fucking understand. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know what? Doesn't matter.
Great.
She's
Let's
at a
talk about
window.
it for 5 more minutes.
She has a
Great.
cat. She's you in the future. She's just standing at a window petting a cat, staring out
Sure.
the window, judging people,
Sure.
yelling
Yep,
at them,
getting
for their
nosy, looking for that
furniture,
gossip.
petting the cat.
Yep. It's me.
Why doesn't that person have a mask on?
Kim, that was an incredible impression of me. I'm looking at myself and you. I didn't know which one was which.
So he waves to her. She does nothing.
Rude.
So he leaves and goes for like a walk. Now he goes to a barber. He's getting his hair cut. And he asks the barber, where are we?
Oh, right. He has no fucking idea.
And
Okay.
the barber's like, High Street, mate. And he's like,
Yup.
London.
London. So he knew it was London by saying High Street?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I actually do want you to postmortem before I forget how much 75 pounds per week is at the time that this is happening.
yeah.
I don't actually
I think
know.
it's present day, so
And I guess they don't have to pay rent.
right. Like, I guess probably all they're paying for is food.
Food?
Then you want to get like clothes and things, but
Yeah.
you
Okay.
can't have any
Anyway,
fun
sorry.
or games. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think
Okay.
pounds is a little more than us.
It's like $1.30, I
So
think.
we could round up to $100 a week, maybe, but
Sure.
still,
Okay.
still,
Anyway.
that's insane,
Insane.
literally insane.
Yeah.
So now he's walking with some bags, maybe grocery bags or something. He's walking by a church and like stops and looks at it. And a guy comes out and is like, "Hey, you one of them refugees? I got something for you." Was that it? That wasn't. What
Oh
was
my
that?
God.
I don't know what that accent was.
No, it was perfect. Is what it was. What was it? Perfect.
Thank you. You're so supportive.
Yeah.
So he goes inside and they have a box of things for them, like food and stuff for the home and stuff like that. He sits down and it's kind of like a back room. I'm wondering if this is the same place or if he went to a bar. I don't really know. He was like in a big room and people were watching soccer on a screen and maybe had a beer or something like that.
Maybe you went to a
But
bar.
It didn't.
Okay.
It felt like the back room of the church, but also a bar at the same time. It was a mixture of those two things.
It was a church bar.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
went to the church bar to watch some
Yeah.
football.
Sure.
And they kind of
This is like when you were convinced that there was a bar on the dinghy in Apostle. She kept trying to go to the bar. I was like, it's a dinghy. Now there's a bar in a church. She's always looking for a bar, which is weird because she's sober now. So,
So they kind of people start singing some song for the soccer business, football business, and Bull joins in. So
oh,
yeah,
cute.
so now the couple's in bed later, and he's kind of explaining it all to like Rial, and she says that maybe she'll go out tomorrow. So they're sleeping, and we kind of hear like cars and like voices and stuff outside, and Bull wakes up and kind of hears like a soft like thumping sound. Mm-hmm. And then so the bedroom door is open and you can see the stairwell like right outside the door, and it sounds like kind of like footsteps are coming up the stairs. And so he like sits up and looks out the open door, but nothing's there, and kind of hears like another like dragging sound almost. Question number 2. What do you do? What does he do?
Go hide in the walls with the birds. Let's see. Okay. So Rial is asleep.
Yes.
Okay. I see the stairwell and I'm on the second floor.
Yes.
Okay. And I hear dragging.
Yeah. Some sound.
Basically what I'm saying is I don't
You don't
see
anything. You
anything.
hear things.
Okay. I think he is going to go investigate and see if he can find the sound. I am going to close the door, wake up Rial, arm ourselves together with something, anything.
You're not allowed arms.
I'm not allowed arms, human arms. They took them. No, I assumed that like if they're not allowed to have candles, they can't have bazookas either.
I'm just fucking with you.
My old travel bazooka. Just something.
Yeah, no, I hear
something
you.
that whatever.
Fair.
And then I think we'll go investigate. Maybe. No, we're not. We're just going to arm ourselves, close the door, move on. Hope it doesn't come in.
Point for him. He goes downstairs.
I don't know what to do in this house.
And he goes downstairs and the light is on in the living room. The ceiling light.
The one that was
Yeah.
broken?
And he turns off the
Okay.
switch and it stays on. So he's
No.
like, click, 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 and it's on.
Ah, so it's a ghost light.
And then the wall that has the little hole in the floor, like part of the wallpaper starts to like fall off from the top. And it's like splotchy black underneath, sort of.
Yeah.
Like moldy, maybe,
Moldy?
question mark.
Yeah.
So kind of like this one like sliver of like wallpaper kind of like falls off, basically.
Okay, like a panel.
Yes. And he goes and like touches the wall and there's like another hole there.
Okay.
And he kind of hears like a dripping, like creaking sound. And so he reaches in and like pulls on something like in the wall, like a cordy type of thing. And he pulls and then the light goes out.
Man, he is just super chill about sticking his hand in
reaches
shit.
right up inside the walls.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even like playing those games as kids where it was like, stick your hand in this hole. What's in there?
I don't think I played
remember
those
those?
games.
It was like, it would be like, it would be like maybe at a Halloween party where it would like have a, like a black sheet over something and be like, stick your hand in. And it would be like, what is it? And in my kid brain, I was like, there are knives in here. Like, obviously, it didn't occur to me that like, oh, they're not going to put something in there that's going to like take my hand.
Like Jello.
Yeah.
So the light goes out, but he keeps pulling. And so he's pulling and pulling and pulling, and it turns into like a big rope, sort of. And then he's pulling, and then it's wet, and then there's like seaweed kind of hanging from the rope, and he keeps pulling. And we see kind of like a shadow behind him, and he's pulling and pulling, and it's like really seaweedy. It's just all seaweed, basically. And then at the very end, tied to it is the doll.
Oh, no.
And then a hand reaches out from the wall and grabs the doll and pulls it back in. So he like jumps back. So it's like completely dark now. Fuck. And then he hears, and he just touches the wall and stares at it. Cut to him scraping off all the wallpaper by candlelight.
Sure. Yeah.
Cut to morning. Real wakes up. Bull's not there. She goes downstairs. All the wallpaper's been scraped off the living room walls. And we hear, Mama? And she's like,
No.
Bull. He's not there. So she just starts like cleaning up the wallpaper bits on the floor, like sweeping them up and stuff like that. And she opens the closet door. And inside, like a light shines on her. And she's seeing that truck with people in it. And Bull, like, with their daughter.
Oh, my God.
Like, kind of flashback, basically. Yeah, so they're just...
Yes. But I'm like, what is real? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cut to Bull, who's at, like, kind of like a dollar store or something. And he's, like, buying some tools and, like, a hammer and stuff like that. Now, Real leaves the house. And she has, like, the handwritten map. And it's like, okay, go around here, 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 and go to Church Street. And that's where the clinic is. Okay. So she's, like, walking, and there's, like, some boy behind her that's like, hello. And he's like, oi, oi. And she just, like, ignores him. And so he leaves.
Okay. Again. Perfect.
She's walking, and she's kind of, it feels like she's in the, like the sidewalk, like within apartments and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how to explain it and like what it looks like here.
Sidewalk within apartments. Like I kind of
big kind of.
Yes, and then there's kind of like where Travis used to live, where it was like they almost had like an internal kind of courtyard sidewalk system within the building.
A little bit. Sure.
Okay.
And she walks by, like, there's like a little kid like pushing like an empty like baby carriage. And then there's like a kid kicking like a ball like against the wall. And this is at like the end. She's kind of like at a gate and the little kid's just like in the corner kicking the ball. So she like gets to the gate and she's like a little like confused about that. So she turns around and goes back the other way. She's like trying to follow the map. Clearly is getting a little bit lost. So she's walking and she turns and it's the same little boy kicking the ball again, but like definitely a different spot, I think. Or she's coming from the other side. Like, I don't know. I was confused, but
she doesn't know.
And it looked like no, it had to because he was in the corner. So yeah, he was like a different spot now kicking a ball. Like, I don't know.
So the haunting is everywhere? Am I the haunted?
It's your negative juju.
No.
So now she's walking concerned, obviously. She gets to like an empty lot and sees 3 boys in like teenagers in like school uniforms, like with their bikes. And they're black. And so she starts calling to them in Dinka, in her language.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, they're all like, go speak to your auntie, bruv. Like,
yeah, that's a weird assumption to make on her part.
Starts asking for help in like where Church Street is. And they're like making fun of her accent because she's like, Church Street. And they're like, Church. They're like, it's Church Street.
Fuck off, assholes.
And they're all kind of like pointing in different directions. Like, no, it's there and there. And they're like, no, it's definitely that way. And so then 2 people agree that it's that way wherever. So she starts to go.
Are they fucking with her?
I wasn't sure. Like, I think they were like to be like, it's here. But like, they were like, no, it's definitely here.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely. And she starts to walk away and they're like, go back to fucking Africa. And then like making fun of her accent. And they're like, you know, only English here, darling. And stuff like that.
I can't decide if I'm relieved that it's not just America or more upset that it's not just America.
Yeah, I would say.
Which one am I?
I think you can be both. I find it to be more
maybe
upsetting,
I'm both
personally, but
yeah, I'm gonna go with both right now.
So yeah, it's for sure a thing. So now she's at the clinic. She found it. She's getting her blood pressure taken, and the nurse is like, "Oh, I love your necklace, like the little beads." And Rial says it was Nyagax. And the nurse is like, "Oh, is that your daughter? Mine's a handful. You should bring her in. We'll take a look at her too." And Rial just like stares at her. And so Rial has some scarification on her, like kind of sides of her eyes. She just has like 3 little triangles. And the nurse or doctor is like, "Oh, that's pretty." And Rial says, "I had it since I was a little girl." And then she shows on her arm, like she has another marking there. And she says, "These I gave to myself with a knife when I found my family butchered." There are 2 tribes where I'm from, and they're killing each other. You mark yourself for the one you belong to. I marked myself with both. I survived by belonging nowhere. And then she says,
"Wow."
And then she says, "We lost her when we crossed the sea."
God,
yeah, it's pretty fucking.
It makes me wonder. Like, not that you and I didn't have empathy for them without hearing that story, but it does make me wonder, like, how many people's minds would be opened by just hearing a single story from someone's life who risked everything to illegally cross a
Yeah.
border.
Like
Just one,
story
just one.
of like what
One story.
their life was
One story.
that they
yeah.
needed. Yeah, it's fucking devastating. So now we're home. Rial brings the groceries, and she goes into the kitchen and hears a noise like outside of the kitchen window, and there's like a little like schoolgirl like peeing outside. And the girl kind of like walks away, and she's like, I think someone lives there. She walks into the living room and sits on the floor and stares at the wall. And so now there's no wallpaper on it. It's just kind of like brown and blacky, whatever marks. And there appears to be like kind of in the middle a maybe like a moldy hole that has like been caused.
Like, okay.
That's like,
meaning like it's rotted.
yeah, because you know at like the bottom it's like that was clearly like a cut out square kind of down there. This is just like
yes, and this
a
looks rotted,
looking brown like black spot that like maybe has a little bit of hole to the other side sort of thing.
blorf.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then a male voice whispers, "Come." And there's some like rustling and clattering sounds. And so she looks back into the kitchen, and she had brought in some groceries, you know, and like a bag of fruit fell onto the floor, and like a peach rolls out like just directly next to her. Come. And then the peach rolls forward like into the wall through the hole.
Nope, that's not how physics works. That's not supposed to be how that rolls.
And now we're POV from inside the wall through the little
POV of the peach.
I don't think we're the peach because I don't think the peach moved up the wall and stayed on the floor.
Okay.
We're kind of POV splooge splat.
Oh, yep. Splooge slot. Yep.
It's very
I want someone to be dropped into listening to this right then. Right? Starting at the POV of the peach to splooge slot.
right.
Just that.
Totally makes sense. Everything makes sense.
Yep.
We're POV splooge splat. And so we can see Rial's face through the little hole, and she's just staring wide-eyed. And then she just hears like whispers coming from the splooge splat.
Okay.
Cut to the door closing, keys, Bull's coming home. It's nighttime. And Rial has set up dinner like on the floor, like on a blanket with a candle, food on the floor. And Bull's like, I lost track of time. Sorry, he's late, you know, whatever. And Rial tells him that she went outside today, and Bull's really happy about that. And he's like,
God, yeah, that must be so scary.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So scary.
Just,
Okay.
yes. So he looks at, you know, the food, and he's happy about everything, but he's like, next time let's use the table. And then he goes in the kitchen and comes back with silverware to give to her.
Okay.
Because clearly like they're used to, like she's not setting this up because they don't have a table in the kitchen.
She's setting up
So they're
because
used
this
to,
is
and
how
also
they would have
eat
eaten.
with their hands.
Hands. Got it.
So now they're trying to eat with silverware, and Rial's like, all I taste is metal.
Yeah.
And Bull's like, you'll get used to it. And he's just, you know, really happy. Like we'll be good here. You know, like I see that there are jobs here, and we'll have a chance here. We can start a family. And she just looks at him.
Ooh, we already had a family.
And Rial tells him a story from her mother, that there was an honorable poor man that wanted a home of his own. So he started to steal, and he stole from a man by the river. This man was an epeth, a night witch. He built his home, the the man who was stealing, built his home. But the Apeth too lived there. And the walls would whisper spells of the Apeth from the shadows. The dead came, and they would not stop until he consumed the man entirely.
Oh, no.
And she says, an Apeth has risen from the ocean and followed us here. It spoke to me.
Shit.
And then there's like a loud noise. And Bull's like, what did it say? She says, we don't belong here. We need to leave and repay our debt. And that will guide us back to her. Back to Nagyak.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I already am predicting I'm going to get nary a single question right for myself because I am already tortured by this. I am already tortured.
It's a tough one.
Also, were they using, this is for my own edification, were they using the idea of the Apeth, the Night Witch, that like, that they're bad?
Yes.
Like, is that the idea?
Yeah,
Okay.
That they did something bad.
Got it. I wanted to make sure it wasn't like the village witch that helped you.
No,
you know,
I think
like,
it's saying
they're
that
saying
they're
it's
being
like
punished,
a bad,
like basically that man that started stealing kind of thing.
Okay.
And Bull is like, she's gone. And Real's now trying to speak in like Dinka again, like they're kind of saying things back and forth. And Bull's like, English. And Bull says, she's dead. We have grieved enough. There's no witch. And Real says, I assured myself it was a dream, that perhaps I'm overwhelmed or imagining. But now I look into your eyes. You're a liar.
What?
So basically, he's trying to be like, there's no witch. Everything's fine. And she can see in his eyes
that he has seen
exactly
something.
That he's hearing things too and seeing things too.
We don't have to talk about this, but if you notice that I'm tearing up, I had this awful dream shortly after Alice died, where it was my grandmother who came in and said, like, your anxiety and your depression, like, grew cancer in your daughter.
Holy fucking shit. That's devastating.
Yeah, but it's definitely, like, reminding me of that, where you're just like, isn't it like, if your child dies, isn't it ultimately always your fault? Like, that's sort of like a feeling.
Right. Which is 100%
that I know
not true.
100% not true. But it's like that because you just feel so much pain and guilt.
Yeah, your feelings are not always logical, which does not negate your feelings, though.
Yeah. So I can't imagine what they're feeling, where it's like they left their home. The only reason that she's gone is because they left their home.
Exactly.
Ah!
Yeah, it's
devastating.
But now you know from the shaman that bad juju doesn't create cancer; it just creates demons. So no big deal. You're fine.
Yeah. Great. Cool. Yay. Bring on the demons.
Cut to later. Bull's in the living room. Oh, no. So sorry. He's in the kitchen now at the walls. And I think he's peeling off the wallpaper in there.
Okay.
So basically the way it's set up is like the kitchen is here, which has a doorway. And I think the hallway to the front door to leave. And then I think the stairs as well. So there's like a little bit of a hallway and then it's the living room. But so you can see from into one to the other. The kitchen to the living room. You can see into each other.
Got it.
So he's sitting at the wall, peeling wallpaper off. The living room is behind him. And we see that there was a candle in the living room behind him and it goes out. So it's just darkness. And now there's like creaking sounds behind him in there. And he looks back and says, Real? And hears kind of like little noises. And he starts pulling more wallpaper. And then he hears kind of like little like running sounds. And then like And so he like grabs his head and it's like the humming gets like louder and louder. And then he just like stares into the darkness of the living room. And then like a shadow in the dark, like kind of like walks toward like the doorway of the living room and kind of looks towards him. And then there's like a noise next to him in the kitchen, like this sink or something. So he looks over and then he kind of hears like little running noises again. And we hear, Mama.
No.
And so now he gets a flashlight and goes into the living room and we see Naigak on the floor, but her back is to us. She's sitting and we just hear her being like, Mama, Mama. And she's stabbing at the floor with a knife. No! Mama, Mama. And then she looks up at him and I think she's wearing like, I couldn't tell if it was like, I think it's like a mask that she had on sort of, but it looked or like a painted something situation that's creepy. Like it's kind of like one half of it is like all like, and like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry to do this because of the, because of the tragedy surrounding it. I'm sorry to have to say this, but I think we have to call a spade and call this kid a creepy crap bag. I think we have to do it.
Well, let's wait till the end.
Okay. Just hold my decision till then?
I think we have to for this one.
Okay.
Do we?
Motion postponed.
Let's wait till the end and we'll come back.
Okay, great.
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Right now. You know what? Currently,
I just needed to put it out there.
You know what? Currently, creepy AF. So,
okay.
You know what?
Okay.
Actually, in the current moment, creepy crap bag AF.
Okay, great.
Completely. Cool. So, yeah.
Great.
You know what? Yes.
Great. I'm really glad that we figured this out. Thank you. I was just feeling so much empathy for them and like for the child that died that like when she was creepy, I was like, no, but
right.
But you're a creepy crap bag.
Sure. Like currently,
you know. Yeah.
Creeping it
feeling very I was feeling very conflicted. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So she looks up at him, creepy mask. Then she kind of like runs away and like into the dark corner. And then she jumps and dives at him with the knife. No! So he like slowly backs into the corner. And it was like completely dark then. Then he like shines the flashlight. And then nothing's there.
Okay. So she is not corporeal.
It appears not.
Okay.
She's not corporeal. I don't fucking know. You know what? I don't know the rules.
I need to stop asking questions about this.
Of our level of crap bag corporealness.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay. No,
especially right now, like where we are. It's hard to tell.
Your uncertainty is certainty enough.
Correct.
Of what we're dealing with.
That is what it is. That's where we are. It's like WTF is happening.
Yes.
So I love you. Dives at him with the knife. He slowly backs into the corner, shines the flashlight. Then there's nothing there.
Nothing.
He's hearing whispers and voices, and shining the flashlight all around, and just hears like voices. Question number 3: what do you do? What does he do?
Oh my God! Get out of here! I can't fucking leave. I can't go back to Sudan. Like, what is happening?
I kind of mean more like in this moment. Not your life choice.
This is
right
what
now.
I'm experiencing right now.
But I'm sure he feels
everything
the same
feels
way.
like a life choice.
I'm sure he feels the same way. But also, like, even if the choice was go back to Sudan, you're not going to do it in this moment. So let's
don't tell me what I will or will not do.
Let's just okay. You're right. You can do whatever you'd like right now.
Yeah. Okay, so I just shined a light at the corporeal, maybe not corporeal, creepy crap bag ghost thing of my daughter, ?
And now you're hearing lots of whispers and voices that are like,
Now I'm hearing lots of whispers and voices.
Okay, they're getting louder.
Where is Rial?
I don't. I think maybe upstairs.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I need to sort some things out within my mind. I'm going to make an appointment at the clinic for a mental doctor and say, I think I may need a tune-up up here in my brains, because some shit is happening that I need to rule out my own mental demise. Because then it'll give me information. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it stops, it was in my head. If it doesn't, what does he do? I think he seems to be a rather curious, brave fellow. I think he's going to go look for the scurrying about. Perhaps in the walls.
Point for you. He does exactly what your first reaction was when you were like, get the fuck out. He like literally just runs outside.
Runs outside.
And he runs to like the back kind of, cement patio area, I guess, whatever. And Cat Lady is upstairs because he runs out and he's like, oh, fuck, like freaked the fuck out. And then he like turns and looks up and see Cat Lady fucking standing there petting her cat, staring again.
You mean me?
You?
Yeah.
And so he just like smiles like, oh, hi. Inside.
Yeah.
And slowly goes back inside. And Rial sees him as like, you saw it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then they hear some other noise and he opens the door. I think it's the closet. And the doll is in there. And he grabs the doll. And then he runs up the stairs. And he's like, we have to destroy everything. It's cursed. So he starts grabbing all their stuff that they brought with them. And Rial's like, stop. And Bull's like, we've been marked. And he grabs everything, goes outside to the back cement area and lights it on fire. And Rial's like upset. Yeah. And Bull sees the necklace on her.
She has to burn that too.
And so he tries to grab it and she says in Dinka, she's like, don't leave me with nothing. And they stare at each other.
Okay.
And then he rips it off and throws it in the fire.
I mean, I get why.
So
I probably would have gone to the mental doctor first, but I see where he's going with it.
Right. So now the next day he's at the mall. Bull walks into a store and a guard is like sitting there drinking coffee and he like immediately sees him and like puts his coffee down and starts following him.
Because he's black. Cool.
And there's like a big advertisement on the wall of just like all British white dude.
Yep.
Like
I see him.
I want to say all American, but you know what I mean. It's that.
Yeah.
But all British dude.
It's patriotic
dude, just regular
British dude.
White dude smiling with like his family that's wearing like a gray polo shirt. And so he like grabs the gray polo shirt and is like, I'll get this, because he wants to like.
This will make me an old British white dude.
So he goes back to the house we're back in the house now later. And Rial is watching as Bull is trying to fix that like cord or whatever that was like inside the wall. So again, he's reaching up in there, fucking trying to do shit. And he cuts his hand and like drips some blood on the floor. And we kind of start to hear some like tribal music play that they don't hear. We're just hearing it in the movie. But like, you know what I mean?
This feels like some sort of blood offering of some kind.
And he does a couple more things and then the light turns on. He fixed it.
Great.
And now he walks towards the kitchen. Rial's in there. She's sitting at the table and she's like whispering to someone. And she's like, perhaps if you spoke to him. And he walks in.
Oh my God, throw her in the trash. Throw your wife in the trash.
Sitting at the table. No one is there.
Throw her in the trash. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. Goodbye. This can't be helped.
So now later they're sitting at the table having dinner. And Rial's like, perhaps you think we're going mad. And Bull says it's not good to be alone all the time with your thoughts. Tomorrow, you know, you'll find something to do, like in the community or something. And Rial says we're not like them. And Bull says we can be.
Oh, God.
And Rial says to him, you don't wonder what it tells me?
I mean, I kind of do, because I love a good piece of tea and gossip.
I was like,
also,
spill it, woman.
yeah, let's hear it.
And Bull says, you are right. Maybe you are mad, or you're scared in the dark. And Rial says to him, after all we've seen, you think bumps in the night frighten me?
Oh, damn. Bitch just dragged you, son. Ooh, she told you to fuck off.
She did.
Okay, queen.
So she says, it says I can get her back and that I should be afraid of you.
Oh, dear.
So Bull like reaches out and holds her hand and he says, this is our house. And she just pulls her hand away. And they start eating. And the camera's like just on Bull. And it's like that quiet, the loudest silverware eating and the quietest, loudest,
right.
the quietest
Yes.
sounds and the loudest silverware eating times.
Yes.
But it's just him. And so the kitchen is, when you walk in through the door, it's just like a little 2-person table up against the wall. Mm-hmm. So that's like when you walk in. And then there's like the counter. And then when you turn like that way is the sink, which looks out the window to the back.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
I think.
So basically we're just seeing Bull up against the wall eating at the table. And it starts to slowly zoom out. And Rial's not there. And then the wall is like torn apart. Like it's just that little bit where he's sitting. And then it's kind of like red-orange smokiness like around him. And then like it's in the water. And we hear like a male voice speaking in Dinka. And then the wind starts to whistle. And there's like a figure there. And then the water underneath him, he looks down. There's a skeleton. And then he falls back into the water. And then it's like all of like the dead are like coming up for him and like moaning. And then he wakes up.
No.
It's nighttime. It's dark. He's in the living room. He was actually just like sitting on the floor against the wall.
Okay.
And he hears someone walk by outside. And so it's completely dark, but it's like just like the window in the living room that has kind of like the street light, you know, light vaguely coming in. So that's kind of all there is. And he hears like a creaking sound. And then he looks to the other side. The corner is completely dark. And then like the darkness, like slowly something kind of like comes out of it and starts walking towards him.
No.
Question number 4. What do you do? What does he do?
Jump out the window. What? He's in the living room.
Yes.
Rial, should I assume she's upstairs in the
would
bedroom?
assume.
He burned everything. Burn myself. Light myself on
That's how
fire.
you're going to stay alive.
Yeah.
Big choice.
And it's like coming at him quickly,
Slowly.
I guess I'm gonna get out of the house again. I guess I already did that. I don't feel like. Maybe I'm gonna confront it. Maybe I'm gonna be like Jennifer Love Hewitt in know what you did last summer. Come and get me. And just be like, what do you want? And we're going to do that together. Also, I almost said Jennifer Love Hewitt in So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh, I didn't know she was.
That's not right. She wasn't.
I'm going to give a point for you.
Oh, thank you. Come at me, bro. Works. Great.
It's worth a try.
Great.
He turns on the light. And then there's nothing there.
light. The light. I forgot we had lights.
And then he hears a whisper, help me. And then a water footprint starts walking on the floor in the living room. And hears, I'm cold.
Oh, no.
And so he
Come on, I have a fire burning just outside.
come this way.
Right this way.
Worth a try. Just kidding.
Okay.
So then he turns the light off and the footsteps stop. And then it's just like a low, like, and then there's like the dead there. I don't know how to describe these things because it's not like a zombie, but it's like, it's the dead.
Okay.
Is all I can, it's the only way I can describe it.
Okay.
So a dead is right in front of him. And then he turns the light on again. And he kind of is just like slowly reaching his hand out into the space. And then he starts to hear other voices of people being like, help me, I can't breathe. And then it's like getting louder and like kind of like water and like screaming and stuff. And then he hears from the kitchen, he hears, Mama?
Fuck.
Mama?
You never want to hear a disembodied mama.
No, honestly.
You always want to know where mama's coming from.
Truly. If that's the wisest words I've heard of 2021 so far.
Yeah, you never want to hear a disembodied mama.
You like mama to be coming from something that you know.
From a corporeal,
a definitively corporeal
body.
Not a question mark corporeal.
No question mark corporeals. We mean exclamation point corporeals.
Yes.
Preferably one that you know
and
personally.
Non-creepy crap bag.
Non-creepy crap. God, yeah, I think we may have to write down some of these rules.
I think so. So, survival guide.
Yeah.
So he starts walking towards the kitchen and the lights go out.
Okay.
And then there's like a giant dead like in the doorway of the kitchen. And
that's too big?
Not too big. Just
okay.
Bigger than him.
Just bigger than him. Okay.
And then he turns around and there's a dead right behind him. And then the lights go on again.
Uh-huh.
And he kind of like yelps and backs up. In the corner where the light switch is, Nyagak is standing there with her creepy mask on. And they're like twisted eye kind of thing. And just stares at him. And he's like, Nyagak? And the lights go off. And the dead are all around him. And they start grabbing at him and like hissing and like moaning. And then he's like, they're like, he's like in the living room and they're like all over him. And then Nyagak climbs on his back and holds a knife to his throat.
Nyagak, you're grounded.
Question number 5. What do you do? What does he do?
Ground her. No TB. Okay, what state are the lights in right now?
Off, because she turned them back off.
Okay, then I'm a fucking turn them bitches back the fuck on. Hand in hand, he does too. Okay, great.
Correct.
I was going to go up and talk to Rial. I was going to have a whole thing.
I could tell you were going places, and I was like, just right now in this moment. Let's just stay here.
Great. Yeah, you were like,
already got it.
Shut up.
Yeah, you already got it. You don't need to say anymore. Yeah, he like reaches out and turns on the light.
Okay.
And they're gone. And he's like fucking hyperventilating and gasping for breath and stuff.
Yeah.
He's totally freaked out. And then he looks down at like the square hole in the wall. And like little Nyak is like looking at him from the wall. Like inside.
Get out of here.
Her little eyes are there.
And
then like skitters up to like the other hole where like the rope or whatever was.
Yeah.
And then across the ceiling, like footprints go and like hit the
This
thing
bitch.
to like some other hole. And then he tries to like reach in, but it like skitters away. And Bull is like, this is my house. My house. He's like, get out. And then he takes the hammer and he starts hitting the walls. He's like, get out. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house. And he's hitting the walls. Cut to daytime. He's on the bus and he goes to the office to see Charles Philip Mark. Yeah. I was going to say Patrick.
Charles, Philip, Mark, Patrick,
And
Fred.
Bull looks rough.
Not great.
His hand is wrapped up from when he like cut it that day. He's kind
Yeah.
of like a little sweaty, a little jittery.
Yeah.
And
Underslept. Overhaunted.
Oh, all the things.
Yeah.
I need that to be like
Underslept and overhaunted.
like reminds me of like a medical commercial. Are you underslept and overhaunted?
T-shirt.
Take this fucking thing. Ask your doctor about this thing that you should know nothing about and only your doctor should know about. There's no reason for you to know about these things or ask your doctor about medicine ever.
Doctor should be telling me.
Yeah.
I love when it's like, take this drug unless you're allergic to this drug. I'm like,
hate that.
I wouldn't know if I was allergic to this drug.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Fucking idiots. And speaking of England, that is one thing that they think is
Insane.
bonker bananas that we
they
do.
should.
And I'm like, you are correct. It is bonker bananas
Yeah.
that we have advertisements for medical
Medicine.
Medical
It's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Truly. Yeah.
That only, I feel like I've told you this, but like that only happened recently. Like that was a law that got like overturned at some point, I think in the 90s, I want to say, but like fairly recently, like that's like a new thing, which is like what has like assisted
Blown
in
up.
making our healthcare the absolute worst because it's literally just to make money. It's like literally just for profit.
You cannot
just
tell
for
me
profit.
that you cannot tell me that Mitch McConnell didn't have something to do with overturning that law. Even if he like technically didn't, I'm like his fucking demon energy did.
Speaking of fucking crap bags that have gotten
Yes.
into our world,
Yes. He is nothing but a fucking
his mom
demonic crap
definitely
bag.
had sex
Fucked in a haunted house.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You could not be more correct. Like I've never heard. This is the truest thing I've heard in 2021.
I agree.
That Mitch McConnell's mom fucked down in a haunted house and gave birth to a fucking demon energy bitch that grew up to look like the fucking monster from Guillermo del Toro's Pan.
Correct. And now we're all underslept and overhaunted by this motherfucker.
By Mitch McConnell.
And we need our medical medicine.
God damn it. Guys, we just summed up America.
Correct.
Great. Okay, here we go.
So, Bull, underslept, overhaunted. Charles Philip Patrick is like, asks his assistant to like go get Bull like a glass of juice or something.
Sure.
And he's like, so, you know, like what's up? Like what's going on? And Bull's like, the house. And he's like, is there problems with the property? Like you want to live somewhere else? And Bull's like, yes.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, I mean, we can look into it. Like, but first I need you to tell me why. Like, are there problems? And Bull like takes the juice now and is like holding it in his hand. And Bull's like, yeah, there's vermin, rats and bugs. It's very bad. Like it's making us sick.
Yeah.
Like Rial is very ill. The doctor says to get out of the house.
Okay.
And different guys in the office are listening, and they're like, his house is bigger than mine, and the other people are like, yeah, me too, kind of like being like they have like a great
vying
house.
for the okay.
Not that they're going to take the house or anything like that. They're just saying like, you're trying to leave this house that's like bigger than my fucking house, dude.
Okay.
And Mark Charles Patrick Phillip is like, it's going to raise some questions, as to like why you're not adapting.
Oh, fuck me.
And then Bull is like, oh, we are, and smiles.
Fuck.
And Mark Charles Patrick Phillip is like, I used to work at a bank too, before they moved all the jobs abroad.
Oh, God.
But, we kind of just end up where we don't think we'd be sometimes. Like, that's life, And Bull is just smiling, like clenchy smiling,
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, I just need a new home. But
fuck.
So clenched,
The fucking idea that someone who just fled the origin of their birth because of mass civil war and family butcherings should be able to just magically adapt to a brand new country where they don't speak the language. Either give them asylum or don't. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. And to be fair, they do speak the language, but just in there.
I just mean,
I
like,
know what you mean.
not their native language where it's like,
gotcha. And Mark Patrick Phillip is like, we'll get you one, but right after the inquiry. Mm-hmm. Like they basically have to do an inquiry if they're going to move you.
Yeah.
And he's like, you kind of look like a mess. Like, you don't look
Get your shit together. Yeah.
You smell bad. You don't smell good. You smell bad.
Fuck you.
And you're not really making sense. And I'm going to have to report that. Mm-hmm. People are going to be asking why you're biting the hand that feeds you. And he says something about, like there's rats everywhere, basically, and I think Bull's kind of like, oh, that's basically fine. Like, we just need to get out of this house. So then Charles Mark is like, oh, so then it's not the rats.
Oh, fuck.
He's like, look, I mean, if you want me to make a fuss, I will. And Bull is just like, smile laughing. So hard. And it's just like, yes. And then the glass in his hand breaks into bits between his bare hands.
Oh,
because
Bull.
he was clenching so hard.
Oh, Bull, this doesn't look good, Bull. Bull.
And then he just gets up and leaves.
Oh, Bull. Oh, no. The optics on this do not look great. Mm-hmm. Shit.
So, back at the house, in the living room, there is just like a couch up against, not our main wall with the hole. It's kind of perpendicular to that. So it's up against the side wall, pretty much.
Okay.
And so Rial's sitting on the couch, and she hears, Mama? And then a hand reaches out of the hole and drops the necklace onto the ground.
Oh.
And it's like, kind of all burnt up. And now we see the wall has holes all over.
Oh, because he
hammered it.
Hammered it. Yeah.
So it's just like
Swiss cheese
everywhere.
walls.
Yes. Swiss cheese walls is exactly the description.
Yeah.
And through
Swiss cheese walls. I would love walls made of cheese.
I would love a grilled Swiss cheese right now.
Oh, fuck yes.
Some tomato soup.
Oh my God. Oh, that's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Let me text my husband real quick. Okay, keep going.
So through one of the holes, she sees like little Nyag-Yak's eyes like looking at her. Mm-hmm. And then Bull comes home. Oh, but he's at the front door. He hasn't gone in yet. And the neighbor lady is like standing at her door. And she's like,
Me.
So sorry. I keep forgetting that
It's
it's
okay.
you.
It's fine. It's fine. I just prefer to be addressed as if I exist and I'm not just some random neighbor lady.
No, excuse me. I meant crazy cat lady is there.
Right.
You.
Me.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't you just leave?
I don't want to be me anymore.
I know.
Never mind. I'm not me anymore. I'm
Right
somebody else.
Right at this exact moment, I was like,
Never mind. I'm not me.
and she says, they're going to kick you out anyway. So you should just leave. I'm just trying to help you.
Oh, me.
And then a car pulls up and it's Mark Charles Patrick Phillip. And he is with like an inspector guy, it seems.
Sure.
So they go into the old living room.
Oh, and there's holes all over the wall because they're made of Swiss cheese.
And they're like, oh, these rats clearly love Swiss cheese. Look what they've done to the place.
Yep.
But no, they're like, oh, it must be big rats. And Bull just smiles.
Yep.
And Charles Mark Patrick is like, so rats put holes in the wall? Gonna have to report that. And investigator, inspector guy or whatever is like taking pictures of everything. And
Looks like you were just doing red rum on the camera. She was doing taking pictures, but she was just doing Tony from The Shining.
red rum. It does
great.
look like that.
It does.
It's because my fingers are, again, so
So
freakishly long.
long.
That,
Yes.
like me bending them to take a picture, it looks like I'm a man speaking.
Yeah.
So, yes. You're thinking she has a thought. Folks, she has a thought. It's coming.
Nope,
to her
lost it.
mouth. Nope, it's not. It retracted
Continue.
back in her butthole.
Yep, it sure did. Oh, you were thinking of poop going back up too. That was the analogy I had in my head.
I wasn't actually thinking of that exact analogy.
You're the one who said
You know
butthole.
what? Sure.
You're the one who said butthole.
I know, because I thought it'd be funny. So,
What's happening?
I don't know. I think we just don't want to talk about this devastating movie. We're just trying to be like, what else can we possibly speak about?
100% what is happening.
How do we talk about Swiss cheese more?
We're like, let's talk about poop going up in your butt again. That sounds better. Ooh. All right, we can do this. We can barrel through.
It's pretty horrific.
Yep.
Here we go. So Bull is like, no, let me fix it. We're not going back. We're one of the good ones.
Yes.
And Charles Mark Patrick is like, okay, we'll give you a warning.
Okay.
And then Rial comes in.
Oh, Rial.
And she's wearing like her normal clothes that she was wearing, but then also like a bed sheet kind of like tied up above her shoulder. So it's like a dress sort of. And she says, have you told them about the witch?
Oh, no, Rial. Come on.
And she says, there's a great beast in this house. It followed us.
Oh, shit.
And my husband has been chasing it with a hammer all night.
Rial. Can you just shut up for 1 fucking second? I'm trying to do something.
I just smashed a glass of orange juice in my bare hands. Could you just shut up? I'm smiling so hard. I've never smiled so hard in my fucking life. She says, it has great magic, and it's filling our house with ghosts. It torments Bull with its visits, from her.
This is what I imagine Bull's face is right now.
Yes.
To all of our audio listeners, it was very accurate.
Join our Patreon. There's a video on there. She says it torments Bull with visits from her, from Neagak. But my husband is a very stubborn man. He believes he can deny it. And they're kind of like, okay, I guess we'll put that into the report.
Okay, bye-bye. Zippity-doo-dah.
Zip it up and zip it out, babe. So the two guys are like outside, like leaving, walking to their car, and Bull's like looking out the window, and we can hear them say something like, we're gonna have to write that up, like they can kiss goodbye to England. And like the inspector guy was like, she was wearing bed sheets.
Oh, come on.
And Real is saying to Bull now, this is what they want. They like to see us crazy. And it makes them feel like big men. They don't want to be reminded that it is them that are the ones that are weak. Like,
Yeah.
how poor and lazy and bored they are. And you still idolize them. You beg them and thank them for scraps, and then you eat them up. Let them send us back.
Oh.
And Bull says, this is our home. And Real says, I'm going back. I'm leaving with or without you. And Bull says, how quickly you forget everything that we went through. And Real says, how quickly you forget our and then Bull like covers up her mouth.
Oh.
She's going to say daughter, obviously. Sure. And so he's like holding her mouth. And then they like slowly lean foreheads together and just look at each other in like the most eyeballs of pain, sadness.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Yes.
Really good acting.
I can see their eyes.
Like, especially, like, he's really good. So he's looking at her and he says, you are sick. This is our home. You're not going anywhere. Cut to him breaking like the window handles and taking off the doorknob to the front door. And
What's
we're
your game
starting to
here,
hear,
bruh?
Like literally like not letting her leave the house.
Oh,
and then we're starting to
fuck.
hear like the kind of like tribal chanting again. And in the living room, Bull lights a candle and he says, this time you talk to me. And so he puts the candle in the middle of the floor and he sits on the couch and waits. And we can tell by like just the shadows of the room, like the sun is setting and then it's dark. And Bull's like eyes are kind of fading a little bit. And he closes his eyes and then we start hearing creaking sounds and breathing and noises. And he opens his eyes and it's pitch black. And then a fire lights in the middle. And Bull says, where are you? And something whispers, thief. And he says, show yourself. And the thing whispers, your life is not yours. You stole it. Repay what you owe. And Bull says, you are a beast. And it says, you are a beast and I am the butcher. Ah! No matter where I go or where you go, I follow. You are mine now.
Fuck. Do you know what that voice that you're doing right now kind of reminds me of? Black Phillip in The Witch.
Ooh.
It's got that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it's like a deep whisper.
Yeah.
A deep male whisper.
Yeah.
And Bull now is like slowly walking to the fire and we can see behind it there's like a figure and we just see like the eyes in the darkness. Mm-hmm. And it says, your life for Nyagak, and hands him a knife. Your body for hers.
Shit.
And Bull says, why don't you come for me yourself? And he kind of like puts his hand in the fire.
Uh-huh.
And nothing happens really, you know? And Bull realizes, you can't touch me. You can't hurt me. This is a bag of tricks.
You're not corporeal.
And that was a...
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That was a dig, accidental dig. My fingers are too long. Also, I'm writing on the back of my notebook at this point. There's a glare. I can't see. And now we start to hear thunder, and he's kind of like, he's like standing on water, and it's like a storm, and Bull's like, no, like stop. And so he's basically like not in the room anymore. He's just like standing on like ocean water, and it's like storming, and he is like looking one way, and then hands come from behind his head and like turn it so he looks at Nyagak. And Bull is just like, pictures can't hurt me. Pictures can't hurt me. Pictures can't hurt me. And Nyagak opens her mouth, and something like crawls out of it.
What?
And then Bull screams. Cut to Rial, a close-up of Rial's face, like concerned face.
Yeah.
And we see that she's just up in his face staring at him, and he's just sitting on the face like looking catatonic.
Oh, fuck.
And is like peed his pants.
Oh, fuck.
And so now she grabs a screwdriver and goes to the front door and starts trying to get out.
Right.
But Bull now comes behind her and is like, no, and like drags her away. And she's like, so he's like holding her from behind and like drags her away from the door and is like, no, you have to stay in the house. Question number 6, you're Rial. What do you do? What does she do?
I'm going to say, you're right. I do. Okay. And I'm going to get him to calm down. And then I'm going to say, let's go upstairs and take a nap. And then I'm going to wait till he falls asleep. And then I'm going to go back downstairs and I'm going to run out and I'm going to run to Charles Mark's home and be like, my husband is crazy. Please help me.
Okay.
That's what I do. She's being held from behind by him.
Yeah.
She's holding a screwdriver. Mm-hmm. That won't do anything. I was going to say, like, she like stabs him in the hand, but the door's still screwed shut, right? That's the whole point. She can't get out unless she unscrews some shit. Okay.
Well, I don't know the exact mechanism keeping her. Basically, there's no door handle.
Right.
I don't know if
screws
are involved or what.
Then I'm going to do that then. I think you gave me a clue. She's going to stab him with the screwdriver and use the screwdriver to like pry open the door and run out. Ha!
Double ding. Yeah. She stabs him in the leg with a screwdriver.
Nice.
They've kind of like dragged themselves into the kitchen at this point. So he falls like, oh, fuck, in the kitchen. And so she shuts the door to the kitchen and then puts a broom like through the handle so he can't
keep
get
it
out.
closed. Yeah.
Question number 7, what do you do? What does she do?
Okay, so she didn't try to leave the last time. She just stabbed him. I'm going to try and leave. I think I'm going to go to Charles Mark. Like, I'm scared. I'm not going to go to Charles Mark, though. I think I'm going to go to the health clinic, maybe. What does she do? She leaves the house. Not sure where she goes. Sweet.
So she climbs out the window. She kind of like gets one of the windows open, climbs out with a backpack, and then starts to run and stops and looks around. It looks different outside. Which is why I gave you a point as well, because it didn't matter where you were trying to.
Sure. Yeah.
And then an African woman comes out of a doorway and speaks Dinka to her and hugs her. And they're like happy to see each other. And then we hear like singing from inside a room. So we go inside and there's like a whole bunch of African women and they're singing and they're like cheering and so happy to see her and they're hugging. And they all sit in a circle and now it's quiet and they all look at her. And in Dinka, she says, I know what you are. It's just a dream. Where is she? And the main woman kind of says, who? And Real says, my daughter. And the woman says, who? And now the women are like singing and Real just stares. Cut to Bowl outside that same looking place. So he's like in the same place as her. We see him walking. We're like inside the room now and he's outside the doorway also with like a backpack and he's dressed all in white, like different than what we've seen him in. And he's calling for Real outside. And now we see Real, there's like a little chest up against the wall, like in a corner. So we can't see anything else. All we're seeing is the corner and this little wooden like chest sort of thing. And Real was hiding inside it. So she climbs out by herself. And we hear gunshots outside. And Bowl runs in and hugs her. And again, we're just seeing like the corner. And he's like, I'm here. And Real looks past him and is staring at something. And Bowl's like, no, look at me. Look at me. We have to leave now. So come on. And Real is staring. And Bowl's just like, please, please come. And now they start to walk through the room. And we see all the women are dead. And it's like a classroom or something. So this is basically them escaping. Yeah. Africa. So now they're outside and like in this, like, they're like huddled together on a roof, just laying down on their backs. But we can see like people running in the streets, like carrying furniture, holding guns. A man fucking walks by on fire.
No.
And now cut to both of them just like walking in the darkness. And there's just gunshots and like flashes of guns like around and things like that, like everywhere, just like in the distance and all around.
Imagine?
Like cannot. And there's other people kind of walking like in the distance from them, like also like leaving. And now it's daytime. They're still walking. And now we start to hear a crowd of people ahead of them. And it's like people crowding up and they're all trying to get on this like bus basically. And it's like the bus is completely full and it's a crowd of people all trying to get in. And Bull like gets up to the front and like he's like, just two more, you know. And the lady at the door is just like, it's full. And she's closing the doors and he's like, two more. And the lady's like, children only. And there's like a mom and a son that they like let go on basically. And so they next to Bowl is a little girl standing there that is Nyagak.
Okay.
And she's like, mama. And we start to hear gunshots and off to the side, there's trucks coming with guys standing in it with guns, like coming towards them, like shooting guns. And so Bowl picks up Nyagak and says, she's a child. Please let us on. Cut to Bull, Real, and Nyagak on the bus. And people from outside who didn't make it on are like banging on the windows and stuff like that. And there's a woman from the outside is like, Nyagak. And the girl sitting on Bull's lap is saying, Mama.
No. What did you do? What did you do? Oh, gosh, guys. Guys.
Bull is like kind of like shushing her, trying to be like, it's okay. Like, and she's like, Mama. And the woman, the mom is like, banging on the back door and like the bus starts to pull away and she's like running after it, screaming for her.
What did you do?
Cut to Real back sitting with the women again. And one kind of reaches and touches her stomach and shakes her head no. And the main kind of woman leader says, you have no daughter. cut to Bowl, Carrie, and Yagak, and they get in the truck, which is kind of the first scene we saw, and stand in the back, and Rial holds her and says, I'll protect you. Cut back to Rial sitting with the women, like sobbing. Cut back now to them all on the boat with all the people, and it starts getting windy. Cut back to Rial with the women. She says, is she dead? Back to the boat. We're all in the water, like people are in the water. It's stormy, and Bowl is dragging Rial to safety towards like the boat or something like that. And Rial is like, get away, like, let me go, let me go, let me go, trying to get to Nyagak. And Nyagak is screaming. Back to the women, like the woman just like stares at Rial. Cut back to a body floating in the water. And back to Rial with the women, and she cries. And the kind of like male creature voice says, I can bring her back. And then one of the women puts a knife in front of Rial. And we hear, sever his flesh, give me his body.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear water dripping, cut to rain, and it's Rial sleeping in like an alley or something like that. And it's like raining on her. And so Bowl comes and carries her home and sits her at the kitchen table. Bowl leaves the room, and Rial hears like a little clinking noise. And she looks over, and it's the knife on the counter. Rial is on the far end of the kitchen.
Okay.
Bowl comes in and sits at the table. So it's Rial, and then it's Bowl, and then it's the kitchen counter where the knife is, and then it's like the kitchen sink with the window.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So Bowl comes and sits at the table, and we hear like a creaking sound, and we hear, Mama. Rial looks at the knife. Question number 8, what does she do? What do you do?
I think she tries to stab him. Okay. Wait, let me come back to that. What do I do? I think I'm just going to be honest. Like, I think I'm going to be like, listen, we need to have a whole talk about everything that has happened. And we need to talk about it right now. And I'm hoping that our sort of like sorting out of our sins and understanding that we made bad choices under duress will break up a little bit of this negative energy. That's what I'm going to try and do. Communicate. I think she tries to kill herself. Not Bull.
Point for you.
Okay.
She looks at the knife. She gets up, walks by Bull, walks to the counter, then keeps walking and just goes to the sink.
Okay.
And like turns on the water. But so the sink looks out the window, so Bull is behind her.
Yes.
So,
as is the knife.
Yeah. So question number 9, what do you do? What does he do?
What does he think? He went and got her. So it's not like he like, at this point, I don't know if I get what his end game is. Can you remind me, what did the whispery voice tell him?
It said, your life for Nyagak, your body for hers.
Okay. I think he tries to off himself then. And I think I am going to communicate again. Great.
So she's standing at the sink and hears like a scraping sound behind her. And she turns around. The knife is gone. And Bull is sitting at the table with the knife and just cuts his arm. And Rial like immediately runs to him. And Bull says, it will come for me now. Let me save her. And his blood is like dripping on the kitchen floor. And Bull says, I should have tried harder. I should have saved her. I see them too. I see all of them from the boat, from home.
God damn it.
And he's like, and what does that make us? And he's like, he's coming. And they're crying and I'm crying and she kisses
And I'm crying.
Yeah, she kisses his forehead. And Bull says, you must go. So she walks away like into the living room, just kind of like doing that crying where she like holds her mouth.
Yeah.
And then we hear like creaking and like rumbling sounds. And it's almost like the floor of the kitchen is starting to like shake a little bit.
Yeah.
And the walls start shaking and the lights are flickering. And then the floor opens up to like a sinkhole kind of in the kitchen under him.
What?
And then hands reach out and grab his legs. So he like
No!
falls on the ground. And then a creepy skin and bones body crawls out.
Ner.
Is the only way I can like think of describing it. Like,
Yeah.
Also,
So not like Skelefrank. We're not talking Skelefrank here.
no, it's like the opposite of Skelefrank because Skelefrank had no skin. This is only skin.
And bones.
Yes.
Ew.
Like
okay.
wrinkly.
Ugh.
But like I did find it interesting that this was white skin
Oh, interesting.
where like
Okay.
everyone else has had black skin, like all of
And
the
it was
dead people.
it was for sure white skin and not just like a decayed kind of grayish vibe.
I mean, it was definitely a decayed grayish vibe, but like
But looked like white skin.
it appeared that way. It was all I don't
A
know.
haunted blur.
It was,
Yeah.
I was underslept and overhaunted. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I get it.
I don't even know like if that was trying to say anything because I did actually try to Google it. You know what I mean? But
That is very interesting though. I mean, you have to be right because otherwise why would you have noticed it? You know what I mean?
it was just something I noticed. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a thing or not. But regardless, it was like wallpaper skin.
Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly the opposite of Skelefrank.
Yeah.
Not no skin. This is only skin.
And also you weren't attracted to it.
And I was not attracted to it.
So that's
It was
the main
much
difference.
It was, you know what it was? It was like Mitch McConnell skin.
Blurg.
Yeah.
Yerky. Okay.
Yeah. Like it was just like yuckiness.
Yeah.
So anyway, that creep
Happened.
crawls out and has
Yep.
like kind of glowy eyes and like crawls and just like gets on top of Bull and he kind of
sounds
like
scary.
growls. It fucking was.
Yeah.
This movie was like scary. It was
Oh,
good.
scary. Yeah.
And he growls at him and he's like, you are mine. And we start to hear kind of like tribal chanting. And the creep like grabs Bull's arm where he cut himself and like puts his finger in the wound, but then kind of like keeps going like inside his skin kind of.
No.
So Bull screams. Rial is just in the other room, like just holding her mouth, like hearing this. And then, so she's holding her mouth with one hand, and then she's just standing there with her back kind of to all of that. And then Nyagak comes up and holds Rial's other hand
Oh, dear God.
and looks up at her. Rial cries. Cut back to, this is now like quick flashes. And now they go to a thing where it's just like music, singing is kind of playing just over the whole thing. And it's like montage-y basically. So it's like Rial with the women, Rial with Nyagak on the truck holding her, the creep on Bowl, Bowl kind of like drifting away, dying, question mark. Rial on that truck, Rial with the women. And Rial's now sitting with the women and she says to them, I have to say goodbye now. And a single tear rolls down her face.
Oh.
She says, I'm going home.
Oh, no.
Question number 10. What does Rial in the real space, in the living room space, do? What do you do?
She lets go of Nyagak's hand. Like, I can't be in this other world with you. And maybe we both, let's do this together. I'm going to like apologize to Nyagak and sort of like set her free. Together, hand in hand.
0 points.
Great. Ending strong.
She does take her hand away.
Okay.
From Nyagak. Cut to Bull screaming from the creek and the creek, and it seems like almost like things are like inside his arm or something like that. I don't know, like under the skin. I don't fucking know. It was creepy. And then we see behind the creep, Real picks up the knife off the kitchen table, and then she grabs his fucking head and pulls it back and then slices its throat.
The creep's throat?
The creep's throat.
Okay.
And he's like gurgling and like falls. And Bull and Real look at each other. Fade to black. Then there's a knocking on the door. It's 2 new inspectors with Charles Mark Patrick Phillip, and Real lets them in. And one guy looks at the kitchen. There's like a carpet on the spot where everything happened in the kitchen. And they're taking pictures, and they go into the living room, and all the holes have been filled in. So now it's just like kind of white patches everywhere. Yeah. And there's some like paint buckets in the corner. And Real and Bull are standing there, and Charles Patrick Phillip Mark says, "You seem well. Is there still a witch?" And Bull says, "Real killed it." And Charles kind of chuckles.
Sure.
And Real says, "I think I might paint this room red." And Bull smiles. And Charles like smiles, like actually like it's
genuine.
It seemed nicely. Yeah. And he's like kind of like chuckling a little bit. And he's like, "Are you completely mad?" And he's like, "What about the rats?" And Bull's like, maybe I was being a little dramatic. And Charles Patrick is like, "Do you still see her?" And Bull's like, "Nyagak." And he says, "Your ghosts follow you. They never leave. They live with you. It's when I let them in, I could start to face myself." And Real says, "This is our home." And Bull says, "We are happy here." And the 2 inspectors come in, and they're like, "Well, they shouldn't be using that barbecue outside or be doing that to the walls, but, you know, that's kind of it." And Charles Mark Patrick Phillip is like, "All right, then. That'll be all." And the inspectors are like, "Right, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Major." And they leave.
Okay.
And so Real and Bull are just standing next to each other, kind of looking out the living room, like watching them leave. And then we see Nyagak is just standing in the kitchen doorway staring at them. And then we go back and see the living room, and Real and Bull are just surrounded by people.
Oh.
And then it goes back to the kitchen, and now Nyagak is surrounded by people. And now we see just like Real takes Bull's hand, and they're alone. And they look at each other, and then they look back at the kitchen. Cut to black. His house.
Wow. I have so many thoughts.
I know.
I'll let you total my points, and I'll try and process them in a succinct way.
Hi, Sammys! So, we heard a rumor that you're not signed up for our awesome Patreon yet.
What? Where are you getting your BoneCon then?
It's cool, it's fine. You can still subscribe. Just hit the link in the show notes or search for us on Patreon. We're right there.
We've got all kinds of BoneCon.
That's bonus content.
We've got mini-sodes, postmortems, and Q&As, all live streamed. polls, prizes, merch, and just a general smorgasbord of KK Sam.
So join us.
Or else.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I'm so overhaunted right now.
I know. For Dead or Alive, you got 4 out of 5.
Oh.
For questions, you got 13 out of 20 for a total of 17 out of 25.
Not too bad.
So that's why, like, at the beginning, when you were doing things like when he was like reaching in the hole and trying to, like, he was doing things where normally we're like, don't do that, you know, or you're just like, I'm going to arm myself and stay back, where it's like kind of what you needed to do
was go into it. Yeah, that makes sense.
To stay alive. Yeah.
The one thought that I kept having that I want to make sure I articulate really well is like the idea that there are these gatekeepers to safety and just being able to fucking live, you know? And that those people are just looking for the thing that like you and I have, just to live. Mm-hmm. And the idea that we expect their behavior, I don't mean you and I mean the royal we, literally, that we expect their behavior to be perfect, and that they have to earn that. And it's like, yeah. And these people even did something really fucked up. And it's like, but there's no, it's so black and white. It's so.
There's no space for them to deal with their trauma.
None at all. No space to deal with their trauma. And it's also like this idea that we're like looking for perfect people to like just let them have a life. You know what I mean? And then the idea, I mean, going back to someone like Mitch McConnell, that like one of the gatekeepers is someone like him in an indirect way.
Right.
But we expect, you know, like we don't take into account crimes of duress or crimes of necessity or, you know what I mean? Like it just, I mean, you know what I mean?
It goes back to the shaman things I was talking about earlier, because a lot of what they talk about is like how we've created lines in the earth, like we've created the boundaries, like it's just made up. It's all made up that this is my land or your land, or we belong here. It's all fucking made up. And that's definitely goes back to the masculine feminine energy of just like not being more
balanced
and just like giving and caring and not so fucking selfish,
nurturing
and
greedy. It's unbelievable. Thank you for doing this movie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Was it
really
did you
good.
Yeah, did you like it, or do you just feel
I loved it?
Okay. Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful and heartbreaking and very well done and scary. Like it was just even like creepy, like not just horrific scary.
No, like it sounded like that creep guy was real scary.
No, and there was a lot of like there was a lot of like things. It was fucking creepy. And even just like the one time where the shadow turns in, like the darkness, like it reminded me a little of Hereditary, that thing where it's like the darkness turned into a dead walking at you.
Oh, I can't wait to watch.
So
I'm going to try and watch it before Eric has to edit this so that he at least will have no spoilers for it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. No, and when I saw that it was Remi Weekes, I think first feature, at least, you know, one on IMDb, you know, I was very impressed.
I thought it was incredible.
Great.
Yeah.
And the acting was really good.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
It
just sounds
face,
amazing.
Like his eyes were just so full of all the feelings all the time. And it was really good.
Well, thanks for doing that, Kim.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, I actually feel like this was like a really cool movie to like start the new year with, you know, because I feel like it's so much about I do because I feel like it's so important to like remember that we're all humans that are just trying to fucking live.
We're all one.
Yeah.
We're all connected. We're all one.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this really hits upon a human experience, which is remembering that is what I feel like has been lacking in the previous year.
So much. Yeah. That's why I thought this was it was beautiful. It was really, 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 really beautiful.
Thanks for telling me this story.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening. Thank all of you for listening. Please, please, please write us a 5-star review on Apple.
Please.
Give us a subscribe. And we've got merch on Threadless. We've got a Patreon, which has lots of cool stuff. And it's a great way to support the podcast.
Yep. You can follow us on social media at KKSam Podcast. We are always trying to do cool stuff over there. So please follow us and tell a friend. Tell 5 friends.
Tell 5 friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year to everyone. This has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe.
So until next week,
Stay alive.
Ghosted me. I'm done.